Welcome to the webinar session today. I'm pleased that we are joined by our partner wbutler, and I'm also pleased to have Michael Udiges, CEO from wbutler, with us. And we will then, of course, walk you through the concepts of digital platforms for smart buildings, and we'll dive into details of that, of course, as well. So, yeah, let's start. Maybe just briefly switch on my camera. If that is working. Yes, hello. So that's me, Markus Flörm. For those who don't know me, I'm running the sales team. I'm based in Oberhaching near Munich at our headquarters. And here we have also Michael. So Michael, a few words to you.
Yeah, thanks, Markus, and good morning to everyone. My name is Michael Udiges. I'm the CEO and co-founder of wbutler. We are located with our company in Münster, North Rhine-Westphalia, close to Dortmund, for those one who don't know Münster. And yeah, it's a pleasure for me today to present you our perspective and our thoughts to digital platforms and how they can enable smart buildings. So yeah, looking forward to a nice webinar.
Okay, great. So thanks for now. So I will switch off my camera to save some bandwidth. To give you a better viewing experience. So yes, let's start. Right, so here the agenda. Again, we will be talking about digital platforms. For those who follow us regularly on this channel, I will just give you a brief introduction to EnOcean and who we are, for those who don't know us. And then, of course, I will hand over back to Michael so that he gives you the introduction on these digital platforms and what they can do for smart buildings, for realizing the concept of smart building. And then, of course, you will have also a Q&A session at the end. So just prepare your questions already now, and then we will try as much as we can, as much as time allows, to answer those live during our session. Yeah, so here a few words to EnOcean. We always want to give you an introduction and overview about us before we then hand over to the presentation of our partners. So EnOcean, we are the leader in self-powered IoT solutions. So that means, of course, that we combine and use our solution, the concept of energy harvesting, where we use, for example, kinetic energy or solar energy or thermal energy to power the electronic components. In this context, we supply components and modules, products for use in the context of energy harvesting, and of course sending the information via standardized wireless radio protocols. Specifically, what we are using is, of course, the EnOcean protocol, which was invented over 20 years ago, but which is an open standard. So there is also the EnOcean Alliance, which specifies and standardizes the protocol. It's supported by over 400 member companies worldwide. And so it's an open standard transmitting in the sub-gigahertz range. So that means, for example, for Europe, 868 megahertz. In the US, we have 902, and there is also 928 as the third frequency. But we also support other standardized wireless protocols, namely there is Bluetooth in the 2.4 gigahertz space, and of course also Zigbee. That's where we have our solutions available. Since we started shipping our products in 2003, we have shipped a double-digit million amount into the market via our various partners, including also wbutler, and those solutions are used in over 1 million buildings worldwide. Those are buildings ranging from small private home, multi-store, private buildings, but also office buildings or hospitals. So that's really from small to big buildings. The installations are really flexible. We have a worldwide activity. We have our head office in Munich, in Germany, but we of course have a team around the world where we have presence around Europe. We have a team, of course, also located in the US. We are present in Far East with our partners, and our activities are supported by a strong global patent portfolio. So we, of course, continuously innovate and also have a big range of patents which are then covering our technology and our innovation. So that's also a very important factor. Yeah, that's it from my side from an introduction. I now gladly hand over to Michael so to give you an introduction on the digital platforms and what they can do for smart buildings. So over to you, Michael.
Yeah, thanks again, Markus, for the warm welcome and the introduction to wbutler and also to EnOcean. which is a very important technology also for our platform. I have today the pleasure to present you some thoughts, some perspectives on the wbutler way, how we face smart buildings in the future, and what we can expect from the market, and how platformization can help to enable smart buildings for the future. So every one of us already knows that current mega trends like the energy transition or the urbanization, and also especially the digitization, leads us to into a more and more smarter future of living. And nearly everyone, homeowners as well as building professionals in the commercial building sector, came already in touch, takes care or deals with digital technologies in or for buildings. So, and yes, that is also confirmed from various studies like this one from Research and Market, a leading research company in UK, which expect, but as well as other studies, a growth rate from around about 10% over the next years in the smart building sector, which feels for the first time as a high and a great growth rate. This led us then to an overall installed base of nearly 3 billion connected devices over the next years in smart buildings. But the growth rate of 10%, this led us also to a question that is 10% really enough and a good and dynamic growth rate for a digital technology at all? And do we fully utilize the potential of real smart building market with that? So in the comparison to some other dynamic growing and also tech-related industry sectors, like here shown the e-vehicle industry and the industrial IoT industry, the growth rate of 10% is not really much. While the industrial IoT industry expect a growth rate of around about 16%, and the e-vehicle industry expect even about 33% annual growth rate. This shows us also the potential of digital technologies we can reach when we use the right technologies and we use the right approaches to fulfill the customer needs. And with this insight, for us, this feels for the first time a little bit like this picture. We are something like a poor-looking dog which can't reach the well-tasting, or better said, the potential for future business. And so with this insight, we thought about reasons for failures in the smart home and also in the smart building sector. What isn't be done, and what are the reasons why we can't reach this potential like other industries? And there we see the missing standardization of several technologies and the whole universe of digital buildings as an important reason for the restrained growth of the smart building sector. And with this insight, and compared to other industries, we are convinced at wbutler that the standardization in shape of platformization and platformization technologies at all are a future growth driver and an important success condition for digital building technologies in buildings for the future. To drive platformization, we see several challenges to bring various stakeholders, for example, product manufacturers, diverse technology providers, also like EnOcean, and even heterogeneous consumer requirements from the private house owner to building professionals like the real estate industry, like quarter and project developers, like facility managers, together, and especially together with their individual requirements, to one, and very important, to one open platform at all, so that everyone can use the same technology stack at overall. So to understand this challenge a little bit better, let's have a short look on the classical way, let's say, to smart buildings and how they will be built right now. So we see on the one hand several trades, various technologies, many manufacturers and thousands of devices which can be used in buildings. And on the other hand, we see some classical consumer roles like user and tenants, homeowners, building professionals like the real estate industry, the project developers, which have individual requirements. And for each individual project, we need an individual and complex system integration to address the diverse customer and user needs so that they can use in a satisfied way the digital building equipment for their installation, for their special installation. And in the future, platform technology can solve this in shape that they will standardize several technologies, applications, interoperability between these, on the one hand, various offering from manufacturers, technology providers, and so on, and bring this together as something like a digital toolbox for the various consumers, and makes it very easy to use digital building technology and don't need high installations, high system integrations with great effort and with high complexity. So in general, we are at wbutler convinced that we need platformization on 3 different layers. So coming from the offering over or across the trades, the industry, the product manufacturers, we need also platformization and communication technology. Here also very important is that we don't have only one communication technology. That's what our expectation is, because communication technology is also often highly specialized in their application they addresses mainly. So like EnOcean in the energy harvesting, for example. And over that, we need something who orchestrates all these technologies from the application, the systems, the communication in one solution, brings the data together, prepares the data, uses the data in industry or trade across application, and provides these data to various so-called interaction services like PropTech solutions, like Amazon Alexa, Apple HomeKit, whatever the customer needs and requires for the future. And at the end, to make this, to make digital building technologies available over these platforms to the individual consumer needs, from the house owner to the building professional. But there are also big concerns, especially in the industry landscape. Often the several manufacturers build great borders to their own solution and are convinced that they have the best solution, and it's a one manufacturer solution, and they build great borders to the individual needs of especially building professionals, so that this makes it very difficult for the building professional to use isolated solutions from the manufacturers in an integral way for their installation, and especially also for their whole realties they have in their portfolio. And so we have the challenge to solve these, to open these isolated solutions and bring this together. So isolated solutions have on the other side also big advantages, especially in their specialization in their core application, like heating or lighting or whatever, because the manufacturers have a high degree of specialization in that and many years of experience. So this is a good part of that. But on the other hand, we have to bring this together and to integrate this in overall applications, general building applications, something what's like working like an operating system. But for that, we need a strong relationship to the manufacturer landscape. And that's how we name it. We need competition for that. And to work together with several partners, technologies providers on one platform technology to address the customer needs with integral solutions. And for that, also the wbutler Alliance was built. Last year, we established the wbutler Association for that, and work together, for example, with these partners around at the moment 34 several industry partners. But in addition to that, we also need something what works like an operating system for buildings, and especially for buildings from the small residential unit over commercial residential units up to non-residential and pure commercial units for buildings. That's very relevant to bring all these several technologies, applications across the diverse providers together. And the goal of that for this integrated solution is to orchestrate these many existing solutions and manufacturers that we can create value, cross-trade application for automation, smart energy, as well as also digital healthcare use cases to make this more usable for the customers and the consumers. And at the end, we also need a good combination of professional smart home in the commercial residential units, especially for the living units, as well as pure technical equipment, technical building infrastructure for smart buildings like the technical center or the elevators or infrastructure, security, or whatever we can imagine for that. So this is very, very important for the future. And this is especially our goal with wbutler OS, to bring these worlds together on one platform for digital building technologies in the future. And to make this more visible, I want to present you also some implementation examples we already have with wbutler. So this is not a future. This is that happens right now here. So here I have one very good example from our small residential unit market, where the prefabricated house manufacturer, the company Weberhaus, builds now 100% of their built houses with wbutler OS, with digital solution, and offers this to their customers. And Weberhaus, for example, combines professional smart home with EnOcean technology, also with smart energy management here, in this case with PV and battery storage systems, together in one solution to the customer, so that they can offer to their customer the best and individual customer needs. And to use wbutler OS and also EnOcean technology for Weberhaus is very important to address also the customer needs in the retrofitting. So these technologies allows also the customer afterwards, he hands over the house to the customer and is ready with his project. The technologies allows that the customer can do many expansion options for easy retrofitting of applications, for example, also burglary protection or smart garden lighting. Some applications who are not direct relevant in the situation when a customer buys his house and is in discussion with the prefabricated house manufacturer. So this is, I think, at the end, a really good example how we can use platform technology in small residential unit. Another very important example for us is a project we execute in the commercial residential unit sector, the so-called Hirschquartier. That's a quarter with 150 second living units in Halle an der Saale. We involved 4 wbutler Alliance partners to create overall connectivity and digital solutions in this quarter. So we start with this project in January this year, and we connected an average 37 devices per living unit here. And we have here a good combination of smart elevators with smart lighting, smart shading, with single room control, digital single room control, to improve the tenant experience in this quarter, and to bring the highest degree of comfort to the customers, to the users in this quarter. The solution here is combined a so-called hybrid approach between smart building and smart home, as well as a hybrid approach between cloud and edge computing. So we have 152 times individual living unit automation for each single living unit, and combines this over the wbutler cloud or the wbutler IoT device platform with so-called IoT devices like the elevator from Aufzughelden to bring this together and to present the data, the status of the devices to the operator of the building, and to reach the best use cases and the best applications for all the several requirements of the users and the tenants of the building, or that quarter, better said. Yeah, so this was a short and quick journey through our platformization strategy of wbutler and our implementation examples. And yeah, I'm open for questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you, Michael, for this presentation. I think you addressed today a very important item in order to, of course, combine technologies together and yeah, to make it possible and to realize all this interesting and important concept for smart buildings. Now, also, of course, under the context of conserving energy and, of course, creating and making those buildings more sustainable. So, so thanks for that. Yes. We are, as Michael was saying, now coming to the Q&A session. If you have already questions, and I'm looking here into our questions function, and I see already the first question coming in. I think one question comes already up to the topic you, Michael, already described regarding the communication standards, because of course you are able to unify multiple of those into your wbutler solution. And the question here I see is, is there one leading communication standard? I guess this is referring to some activities we see recently also around Matter. And so it would be important to understand what you say about communication standards.
Yeah, for sure. So we don't see that there is only one certain communication standard. So as I mentioned, we see that often communication technologies are very specialized in special application and usage situations, like the EnOcean technology, which is the best technology to create energy harvesting products, and especially for passive sensors, to avoid the usage of battery or electrical supply for that. So we see that this will be also in the future brings us to the situation where we have several communication technologies in buildings for several applications. And yeah, we expect that some technologies will consolidate with each other, like Zigbee and Matter, for example, also. But at the end, we see that we have more than 2, 3, 4, 5 several communication technology, which are relevant for smart buildings in the future.
Okay. So thanks for that. Yes. Then, yes, see other questions coming in. Okay, there is a question. Okay, which other EnOcean sensors can be added or are available? I guess this is referring to what you have presented, for example, with Weberhaus, and I guess it's a question I can answer. Yeah, it's actually a very good and important question, because I think that's one of the advantages, also especially when talking about the EnOcean protocol. And Michael already was indicating that in the case of Weberhaus, you could start with a maybe, let's so call it, basic configuration of your home automation system, and have that enabled and implemented. But later, now we all know when you buy a house, the budget is always tight. Now you run out of money, especially these days as house pricing is actually rising. So it's very important to have a system where you can upgrade later. And I think that was the concept which convinced Weberhaus, and which wbutler was realizing very nicely and very well, where you of course have this the platform with an app, and then you can later add additional functionality. And we have seen that there is this burglary functions you can add at a later point, heating control, and so on, whatever you need in your house. And that's then, of course, the benefit where we come in with our technology. So one, and the EnOcean protocol is interoperable, so you can add solutions from other manufacturers and production and the designs, and combine this with your system as you want them and as your budget allow. And so this is a very key element. And then, of course, as I said, with energy harvesting, of course, you can create switches, which of course are using kinetic energy, or you can then add maybe solar-based sensors for measuring temperature or presence detection. So all this is possible now. Then a very important fact on that. Okay, then I see another question coming in. So how open does a platform really need to be? So I guess again, question to you, Michael.
Yeah, in general, to be successful with platform technology, I think, or I convinced that platform must be 100% open and let every producer as well as consumer into the platform and allows the use of the platform. So it can't be a success condition to create artificial borders or one manufacturer solution. I'm convinced that this will work well in the future, and so platforms must be 100% open to every direction, to the consumers, to the producers, even to service or technology providers.
Okay, so thank you for that. Yes, I see another question coming in, and I guess that's what I can answer. So the question now I see coming in is that one participant is looking for more information about an EnOcean product and partners providing solutions like sensors and platforms. And in that case, what I can say, the best place to look is the website of the EnOcean Alliance. No? So there is this website, EnOcean alliance.org. There you find a members list now, because everybody who supports the EnOcean protocol and provides solution based on energy harvesting technology is member in the EnOcean Alliance. So is also, of course, wbutler. And on that homepage of the EnOcean Alliance, under the member section, you find all the names and companies proactively selling the solution. And there is also even a product section where you can browse and filter after certain products. At the moment, in the EnOcean Alliance, there is well over 1,500 different products and different flavors. And so, yeah, if you are interested to learn more, who else is participating? I mean, Michael was presenting in his slide deck a couple of names of companies who are doing it, but there's many more. And again, just can point you to the website of the EnOcean Alliance, where you can do that search and find names. Of course, if you have further questions or you are not sure if you find the right one, just drop me an email at the end of this presentation. You will find the contact details, and then we, of course, can help you further with further details.